everyone, welcome to my Facebook Live this week. My name's Mandy Witherby and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to have you along, whether or not you are watching live or watching the replay, or perhaps watching it back on on YouTube later on. Thank you for being here. Hi Tina Marie, great to have you here. How are you today? I'll just bring this up on my iPad so that I can see all comments there. So let me just find this video. There we go. Okay. Time gets away really quickly, doesn't it? I thought I was doing so well today. I thought I was super organized. And then at the last minute, I decided to create an additional card. And I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, it's time to go live. And I was ready earlier and then all of a sudden I wasn't. So I am just putting the finishing touches on that while everybody is jumping on. Hey Kathy, great to have you here. Oh, you changed your plans to tomorrow, Tina Marie, so that you could make my live today. Aw, thank you. It's great to have you. How are you, Kathy? It's good to have you here. All right, so keep chit-chatting. While we're chit-chatting, I'm just putting the finishing touches on this extra card. Well, actually, this one was the one that I had my inspiration for. But I actually, it's funny. So I started with the idea for this card, but instead of creating this card first, I actually created a different card. And then I created this one today. So I did it back to front, which was really weird. But the one that we're doing today on my Facebook Live is actually the one I created second, which I created yesterday before the one I created today. I know, it's all back to front, isn't it? That's so weird. But yeah, this one was kind of the inspiration. And I had the idea in my head, but I wasn't quite certain which direction I wanted to take it, and then I thought, oh, today I'll have a bit more of a play and decide, and yeah, and then it sort of just evolved. Do you ever do that? Do you ever come up with an idea and then just keep playing and playing and playing and letting it evolve and see where it takes you? It's fun. It's fun to do, but sometimes it can also be a little bit frustrating because it kind of isn't turning out how you want it to turn out and all those things. So, but anyway, I think we have kind of got what I wanted, although I'm not happy with this twine that not that I'm not happy with the twine, I'm not happy with how I've got it sitting, is more to the point. So keep chatting as you all jump on. Ah, thank you, Tina Marie. Tina Marie says that my lives are the highlight of her week. Ah, thank you. That's so lovely. Kathy says, yes, good, recuperating from a third shoulder surgery. Oh, ouch. But all is great, just no crafting because it's my right one. Oh, no. Oh, that would be frustrating, I would imagine, and painful. Oh, how long is the recuperation period normally, Kathy? If this is your third one, then obviously you've had experience with this before. Does it usually take a long time to recuperate from? I would imagine it would, something like that. It's pretty major, isn't it? Yeah, sorry to hear that you're going through that. Hi Robin, great to have you here. Oh, Tina Marie says all the time. Thank you. So while I'm chatting with you, I'm tweaking this twine that I'm playing with at the moment on this project to get it sitting where I want it, because it kind of, I thought I had it right, and then decided no, it wasn't quite right where I wanted it. So it was a little bit too, you know, with twine, do you like, well actually let me ask this question, do you like your twine looking sort of like uniform and neat, or do you like it looking messy? Because I kind of was going for the messy look, but it was looking a little bit too neat, so I'm trying to make it look messy, but it's sort of being difficult. I think because now I've put the dimensionals down. So I'm kind of trying to manipulate it in amongst all of the dimensionals, and I've got the adhesive. Wait till you see what I'm talking about. You'll see it in a little bit. But yes, I wanted it a little bit more messy looking, not too neat. For this project, it needs to look a little bit more messy. So, but it's kind of not working. Oh, Kathy says very ouchy. Yeah. Oh, it's a few months because my full-time job is being a bus driver. Oh no. Oh, she says it's very frustrating because all of the new products still to play with. Oh yeah. But do you know what, Kathy? It's okay. They're going to be there for a whole year. So you've got time. It's all good. But I do understand the frustration because you'd be wanting, I would imagine you'd be wanting to jump in there right now and be playing with them. But we've got to do what we've got to do sometimes, hey? So, oh, but you're loving being at home. Yes. I have to say that I love being at home, working from home every day now too, and not having to go out if I don't want to. And pretty much I only go out for important things. So yeah, I like being at home. Now, is that how I want it to look? Yes, I think I've got it. I'm going to stop playing with it. I'm going to stick this down now, and because I want to be able to show you this card. This is just my show and tell card, but the one that we're making today is, well, it's kind of an adaptation of this one. Now I've got to try and get this in the middle. Let's see if I can do that under pressure. I don't know if that's quite in the middle, but I think it should be okay. I think we'll get away with that. All right, and then this is going there, and then I think that should be it. I just don't have any bling on this one yet. I haven't decided on the bling I'm going to use. So, and I'm actually, I'm playing with some new product. And on this one, I've incorporated some product that had carried over as well. Did I say on this project is what I meant to say? I don't know what I just said. All right, so let's put you there. Okay, all good. Oh, I should have put some minis there. That's okay. All good. All right, and I can add some bling later. I didn't actually grab my bling down because the bling that we're using today, I already had pulled out ahead of time. Okay, I think I'm a bit more organized now. So how was everyone's weekend? Let me know. Hey, Jenny. Hi, Heather. Great to have you all here. Oh, Robin said it depends on the rest of the card design. Yes. With the twine. So the twine that I was using was the new Baker's Twine Essential Pack. You get the 4 neutral colors in there, and I love that. I love that you get, oh actually 5, sorry, 5, because the black's down there too. And I was using the grey, I think it's grey granite, and I was using that one just now. So, but yeah, I love that you get the 5 different colors now, which is awesome because we love Baker's Twine in this house. Well, Amber and I, we're the ones who do all the creating. We love Baker's Twine, and so to have the 5 different colors for us is awesome. Okay, now I'm getting all organized. So I had another reason why I'm a little bit disorganized today is because the puppy wouldn't sleep today. There were people coming and going and moving around the house, and she was just so disturbed that I couldn't get her to sleep. And she finally fell asleep about half an hour before I was about to go live. And then about 10 minutes later, Amber came downstairs to start preparing to take her ready for me to film. So, excuse me. So she's been all over the place today. Oh, no worries, Kathy. Kathy said she'll be right back. Her 4, my 4 Garland daughter wants me to ring her because it's her first day at Big School. Oh, granddaughter, I think that's supposed to be. 4-year-old granddaughter. It's her first day at Big preschool instead of daycare. Aw, that's so sweet. That's one thing I do miss. I love being at home. I don't miss going to work every day, but I do miss the children. I miss working with the children. I love working with 3 to 5 year olds. It's a great age group. I do miss the kids. Okay, so Judy's saying, so show me what you did just there. Just got on after my client left. Okay, awesome. And yes, I have just created a card. It doesn't have the bling on it yet though. I didn't grab, actually, hang on, let me grab my bling. I've got, and I ordered some new bling the other day too. So that was exciting. I love bling, but I still don't yet have all of the bling that's in the catalogue. I will get it all eventually over time, but I just don't have it all yet. So I need to decide the bling that I'm going to put on this one. And I'm not sure which one. So anyway, while I'm deciding that, let me tell you just quickly that we've got some special promotions running at the moment. And if you follow me regularly, then you've probably heard me talk about it over the last couple of weeks. So because we've got the new annual catalogue that has just launched, we've got, oh, my other bling's in the other container. It's all right. I'm just going to use, what will I use? Not that. I might use this or this. So we've got a starter kit promotion at the moment. It's called Join Plus. So at the moment, when you join Stampin' Up, you still only pay $169 as always, but at the moment you get $283 worth of product in when you pay $169. Sorry, I've got too many things on my mind. So what that means is you get $114 worth of free product in your starter kit, and that's products that you choose. So you choose exactly what you want to put in your starter kit, and it's a great way of getting a huge discount. It's actually the best, it's the best offer in the whole catalogue actually. And you get free shipping on that order as well, on the starter kit, which is fantastic. And then from there, you will get 20% discount on all of your future orders, which is awesome. I love that people are able to get the discount. And I really, really encourage you that if you've got a large order that you want to put in, or you've got a really long wish list, there's lots of things on your wish list, consider joining, because you really will save on that fantastic discount. And the freebies, of course, when you first join up. So I'd be happy to have you on my team. If you would like more information about that, yep, no worries, Tina Marie. If you would like more information about the joining offer, please ask me, because I love people to be well informed and to have all their questions answered before they make the decision. Yeah, so please feel free to get in contact with me and ask me any questions that you might have about joining my team. When can we have a tour of my craft room? Amber could follow you around the room as you show us, please. Oh, that might be a video for another day. It's not very tidy right now, I have to say. I've got stuff on my, so I've got 2 desks in my craft room. I've got this desk where I film, which is my crafting table, and then I've got my business desk where I sit. Well, I'm supposed to sit to do all my business work, computer work and all of that, but lately it's had so much stuff on it that I've just been doing everything here on my crafting table. And the other reason we have 2 desks in here is so that Amber and I can both work in here at the same time, which we do. However, sometimes I lately have been having to make space because the other desk has had so much stuff on it. So yes, the tour of my craft room will not happen anytime soon, Judy. Not until I've had a big clean up. Oh, I did over the weekend finally put away all my new products though, because I'd had 2 big orders. So I had my pre-order still out, and I had my first big order that I did the unboxing of last week, and I finally got all that put away on the shelves, so that made me feel better. to get that all put away. I found room for them all. I had to rearrange all of my Stampin' blends because we had the 5 new colors and there's 2 pens, 2 blend markers per color. So I had to rearrange them all and slot them in, and I redid all my colors, and yeah, so that was fun. I watched some Netflix while I was doing that, so all good. Oh, you want to see all my organization and storage stuff? Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I would like to do it one day. I've been talking about doing it for quite a while. My craft room has some things in here that are also ambers, so we share the space. So yeah, but I will explain about that when I finally do the filming. Now, I don't know where I'm putting this bling. You know what? I'm going to leave this for later, the bling. I will show you the card. I might add the bling at the end after I've shown you everything else and we've actually made the card that we're going to make today. But I'll leave that bling out because I think that's what I'm going to use. All right, I've got some stories to tell today as well, which were my inspiration for the cards that we're going to be making, or the card that we're going to be making today, and this other one that I've just finished making. So let me tell you, first of all, about the annual catalogue. Now, if you haven't seen the annual catalogue yet, then you might be new to my channel. You might be new to Stampin' Up. You might not ever have seen or heard of Stampin' Up before, and that's totally fine. We love new crafters to join us. So our new annual catalogue just launched on the 4th of May. Now, this is my copy. You see I've got tabs everywhere because this is my wish list. The ones down the side, oh, I've got to take some of them out actually, because some of those were the ones on my wish list that I ordered. So in my catalogue, I like to mark when I've ordered them. I need to go through and just tick everything in the catalogue and then remove those extra little sticky notes. But I do have tabs on the side of my catalogue as well, which helps me to find things easily in the catalogue. And that's one of the perks of being a demonstrator, is we get all of these additional things. So we get Stampin' Up logo merchandise, we get additional things like these little catalogue tabs, we can get Stampin' Up sticky notes, mouse pads, all different sorts of things, cups, mugs, jackets. I was wearing my jacket today. I took it off just before I started filming actually, because I thought I'll get too hot talking. All different sorts of things. So it's really exciting that Stampin' Up demonstrators have exclusive, what would you say, exclusive, I was going to say rights, not rights, exclusive offers. Would that be the word? Anyway, you know what I mean. Hi Renee, great to have you here. So yes, so yeah, if you haven't seen Stampin' Up yet and you would like one of these catalogues, feel free to get in contact with me and leave me a message, and I'd love to get one of these catalogues to you, and I'd love to look after you as your demonstrator. I love to spoil my customers and spoil my team, and I want to give you the best customer service. In saying that too, if you are ordering with me in my online store, as I said, I think it was last week, I was telling everyone, please be sure to sign in to your customer login. If you don't already have one, make sure you create one, and I'd love it if you would select me as your demonstrator. But when you're logging out, be sure not to sign out as a guest. Be sure to be logged in to your customer account, because otherwise what will happen is your purchase or your order will be could be allocated to a different demonstrator, and then you'll miss out on the free perks and the specials that I give to my customers. Okay, and I don't want you to miss out on those things. So if ever anything happens and you're unsure or something goes awry with your orders, please get in contact with me and let me know so that I can help you. Okay, yes, perks of the job. That's right, Judy. Yes, definitely, yes. Now also too, I'll just let you know, I did mention this last week. We have this little brochure about our kits now. So the Stampin' Up Kits are, these new ones are going to be released on the 1st of June. So we've got something to look forward to next month. As demonstrators, it's another perk. We were able to get our hands on these already, and I've got 3 of them. I still haven't opened them yet, but I've got 3 different kits. There's going to be 10 to choose from to start with. And what's going to happen with the kits now, they're not going to be in the main annual catalogue. What they're going to do is they're going to be in the online store, and they're going to be changed all the time. So each kit is now going to be only while supplies last, and then Stampin' Up are going to be introducing new kits. So there'll always be lots of different kits to choose from, and whatever is available in the online store will be what is available. So once they basically sell out, that'll be the end of it. So when the kits start, if you see a kit that you like, be sure to grab it before they all sell out. Now I'm going to be starting up a monthly kit class, and anyone that purchases kits through me will be eligible to come to that, and it'll be live via Zoom, and I'm planning to do it on a Friday evening, probably 7:30, and I'll be announcing it when I've definitely said it. I think the date that I chose was the... I haven't written it on my calendar. Okay, I need to check the date. I think it was going to be the third Friday of the month. So that would be the 18th of June. I need to double check that and write that, because I've got that written down somewhere else, but I haven't transferred that over to my calendar yet, because Amber just put up my June calendar the other day and I haven't transferred everything. But I'll let you know closer to time about that. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, something that we can just do, something chilled, that we can just hang out on a Friday night and just put together our kits. And it doesn't have to be the kit that I'm putting together. You can choose any of the kits you like. I can actually print all of the instructions for all of the kits, so that if you're working on a different kit to the one that I'm working on, and you get stuck, I'll actually have the instructions there so I can talk you through them. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. So it's just going to be a fun experience that we can just have a crafting time together. The kits are going to be a fantastic price, really low price point. And there are stamping kits, which will include everything that you need to make the projects, including a block and an ink spot, and a stamp set, and all of your supplies for your even adhesive as well, and Stampin' Dimensionals. So the only thing you'll basically need are your tools, like your scissors, although everything's usually pre-cut, die cut and things like that, so you probably won't even need scissors. Yes, and then there's going to be non-stamping kits as well, which basically don't need any stamping done with them. So yeah, so they're fantastic. So I'll show some of those to so you can all see them, see what they're going to look like. But as I said, there's 10 of them to begin with, and I only have 3. So there's a whole heap of others to choose from, and all different themes. So very exciting. I'm really excited about the kits. Just quickly too, we still have the mini catalogue available, so don't forget about this one, because the products are still available, and this one goes till the end of June. I think, is it the 30th of June? Yeah, so we've still got a little while with this one as well, and there's beautiful products in that one too. And if you are interested in hosting an event, so a workshop or a party during or up until the 14th of June, not November, from now till the 14th of June 2021, we have a special on called Connect, Craft and Collect. I keep forgetting the name of it, it's very long. That if you want to host an event, or and I can talk to you about that and set that up with you, we can do that online. Or if you want to just gather some orders from your friends and you get orders over $400, not only do you get your 10% in Stampin' Awards, so you get to have a 10% shopping spree on whatever you want, you'll get an additional $40 to spend as well. So if you would like more information about that, and there's, let me bring the chart up. Take a screenshot if you'd like to remember that special as well. That just shows you what you can get for free, okay? So take a screenshot of that. And yeah, if you'd like some more information or you're interested in that, have a chat with me, and I'd love to help you to have an event and get some orders and earn some freebies. Oh, hey Athena, how you going? Oh, you're working. Shh. We've also got the Bouquet of Hope kit, paper pumpkin kit, still available at the moment too, so don't forget about that one as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful kit for anyone that you want to let know that you're thinking of them. Perhaps somebody has had a loss or is going through a hard time. This is a great kit, but a thinking of you card as well can be used for any occasion. So I like that about that kit. It's really pretty. All right, so that's everything. If you've got any questions about any of those things that I've just mentioned, please feel free to ask me as we're crafting. If you would like more information about any of the offers, the joining offer or the hosting offer, then send me a message so that I will see it. Send me a private message so that I'll see it, because it might get lost in all of the comments on this video, okay? Because sometimes Facebook hides some of them. And did you notice that my screen is flipped back to normal today? Because Facebook fixed the issue. I think they probably had so many complaints, or not, well, maybe complaints, that they realized that there was an issue with the screen flipping, and they fixed it. So that was only a week, so that was really good. Yeah, there was a lot of demonstrators talking about it, because we were all like, oh no, how are we going to film now? So yeah, all good again. So that's good. Would I come up there for an event for, well, we could perhaps do an online event, Judy. I don't really travel out of area or too far out of area. I stay in the Sydney area. But we could perhaps talk about doing an online event that all of those ladies would be able to join in on. So we can have a chat about that. So yeah, so let's have a chat about that perhaps this evening after I finish filming. If you're free, if not this afternoon or this evening, then let me know, and perhaps we can do it on another day. Yeah, all right, so I'm just going to pop this over to the side. All right. Okay, so what I might do is I'll cover up my camera and I'll flip that down to the desktop now, and I will show you what we're going to be creating, and I've got some fun stories to tell you about as well. All right, so let me cover up the camera and we will flip those screens, because now I can. All right, and we'll come down onto the desktop. All right, it's just going to be a bit clunky for a moment while I readjust everything. Alrighty, we are nearly there. Oh, I can hear my puppy barking in the background. There we go. We'll see how straight I got it today. And I'll just readjust those lights so that we can, oh wow, I'm really crooked though. Let's just straighten that up a tad. See how that looks. Is that better? That's better. Okay, great. All right, here is my blog, and I still haven't printed a new one of these. I always forget. This is where you'll find my online store. Let me just move that up a tad. You'll find my online store via my blog, or you can go directly to my website. The thing is though, with my blog, you'll get some other creative inspiration. I've also got a link there for you to subscribe to my newsletter. If you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, please go to my blog and subscribe to my newsletter. I would love you to do that so that I can send you all of the information about the current promotions. I put projects on there so you get some creative inspiration as well. All different sorts of things, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the current goings on. So yes, so please jump over to there, and you'll see the subscribe button for my newsletter at the top right hand corner of my blog page when you go to my blog page. Hey Glenda, I am well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's good to see you. All right, so this is the card that I was just working. Wait, let me show you what we're going to be playing with first, and then I'll show you the cards. So I have, oh, I've just put my catalogue away. Let me grab that again. I was going to show you in the catalogue. So if you go to page 118 of your annual catalogue, your brand new beautiful annual catalogue, let me move that over a little bit. Oh, the camera is really a long way over to that way today, which means I've got to shift everything that way. And we've got this page of these gorgeous background stamps. So we're going to be playing today with the spiral die stamp. I'm going to show you how to use this one, okay? Because it is a little bit tricky. Some people aren't too sure how to use it, but I'm going to show you a few tricks with this one today. And I'm going to show you some technique that is making a comeback. Hasn't been around for a little while, but it's making a comeback. So I'm going to show you that today too. So here is the stamp set. Okay, it's a really big stamp set. It's a background stamp. Now this one is very big and it fits on our largest block. However, for this technique or for this stamp, I find it is, you can use the block if you want to, but I find it's much easier to use the Stamparatus. So what I've done is I've put some of the mini or the small grid paper that fits in the Stamparatus. I've put a sheet of that there, and I've put little marks on here to line up my cardstock so that I know exactly where this piece is going to land on the cardstock, because we're going to have to flip that cardstock, and I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. So we need to know exactly where that's going to line up. Now I just remembered the cardstock that I had for today, I already cut that down to size, so I might need to put some new marks on here, which is okay because I've already got a little bit of a shadow on here from my previous stamping that I was doing yesterday. So I'll be able to line up my cardstock on there, and then I'll put some more little marks. So yes, so this one is great to use with the Stamparatus. Now if you haven't seen the Stamparatus before, the Stamparatus is a fantastic stamp positioning tool, and you can use this with any of your stamps. The great thing about it too is it comes with 2 plates. They're double-sided, so you can put stamps on both sides. And you can remove the plates, and you can have it either on you can choose to use it on the side or on the top, and you just pop them back in and lay them down. You have to have them at a 90-degree angle to take them in and out. But not only that, with the hinges, depending on the type of stamp that you're using, you can do what is called hinge step stamping. So say you have a sentiment and you might want to do multiple stamps of the sentiment. What you do is you take it out, you move it down 1 notch, and you stamp it again. It wouldn't work with this stamp, but with other types of stamps it would. And then you remove it, move it down again, and you keep going down. So you get like a repeated image on the way down. Not with this stamp though, but with some of the other stamps, that is a great technique to use. Or you can do it crossways as well. So yeah, we've got lots of different stamps that works really well with that technique. The Stamparatus comes with 2 magnets. I've got mine covered in washi tape. One, because if they do accidentally snap together, they will shatter. They're a very, they're a strong magnet, but the type of material that they're made with, if you drop them or if they snap together, they will shatter. So I keep mine wrapped in washi tape, and I put an extra little piece on that gives me like a little lever to pick it up, which makes it easier for me. I keep one stored on, I very rarely use both. I often just use one at a time. So I've got one here, but on the back of your Stamparatus, you actually have 2 positions to store them in. But I usually store one underneath and the other one on the top that I'm using all the time. The Stamparatus is great for if you're doing a lot of repetitive stamping, or if you want to use a lot of stamps at once but you might not have a lot of blocks. You can use multiple stamps and you can put them in different places on your plate, and you can use the 2 different plates, and you've basically got 4 stamping surfaces because they're double-sided. So yeah, anyway, so we're going to be using that today. Let me just move that magnet back over because otherwise it's going to be in the way. So I'll show you how we're going to do that today. So we're using that with the spiral die. We are also going to be using the brand new soft pastel assortment. I'm so excited about these. Did any of you used to play with chalks back in the day? So we're going back probably 15, 20 years. Did any of you used to play with chalks with your crafting? I did. It was one of my favorite techniques, and I had all of the different chalks. Stampin' Up used to have a big palette. They call theirs pastels. And they used to have a big palette of them, which I still have, my old set. But of course the colors are all different now. These are the new ones. I'm hoping Stampin' Up, I'm hoping these will be really, really popular, and over time Stampin' Up will bring out some more colors. The colors in this range are, let me tell you, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Poppy Parade. So these, oh, you have that palette today? Awesome, Athena. That's so great. Oh, and Tina Marie says she's excited to see how I use the Stamparatus. She's barely used hers. Oh, we'll have to do some more work with the Stamparatus, Tina Marie. Yes, so I'm just using 3 colors today. I actually am using it with daubers, and I'll show you how I'll do that. But I've run out of daubers, so I need to get some new daubers to use with my chalks, and they're going to be on my next order. So yeah, so I'm so super excited about these being back. I've been having a little bit of a play, and I've come up with a couple of different ideas of using them. So let me show you, first of all, the first one I'm going to be doing. Oh, actually, I'll show you the one that my inspiration, then I'll tell you the story. So the first time I played with this, I used the Stampin' Right markers because I had seen Bruno Bertucci playing with this stamp set, and he was using the markers. So I chose the Stampin' Right markers that I liked. I looked up an image on Pinterest to have a look and see colors of tie-dye. And so I then chose some colors that I thought looked like the colors in the shirt that I'd seen. And this was the first sample that I created. So this one took a really long time because I had to color the stamp myself, and each little section I sort of colored a different section at a time. Then what I did is I stamped it, then I rotated my paper 90 degrees and then did it again, 180 degrees, and then I did it again. So this one took a long time, gave a fantastic effect, but I haven't put this on a card yet. But the reason that I wanted to do tie-dyeing is because tie-dyeing takes me back to my childhood. So when I first saw this, Tina Marie says, it's a great tool. Oh, sorry, Heather says, Tina Marie, it's a great tool. I use mine almost all the time. It's really handy for the larger stamps. Yes, you're right, Heather, it is. And Athena says she's finding she's using hers all the time now. It's a nice size, and she has a couple of different ones. Fantastic. Oh, thanks, Heather. Yes, Heather said this is really nice. It gave a great effect. It just took a lot of time, and once colouring all of the stamp, because you're colouring in different sections, you've then got to huff your breath onto the stamp to re-moisten the ink before you stamp it. Yeah, so that was the first one I played with. Then I played with the second one just with ink, and the second one I did just in 2 colors. So, and this is the one that was, this was actually the initial one that was my inspiration, and then I started playing with different things. And this is the one I was just putting the finishing touches on when I started my live today. This is the one that I had in mind, but it's not the one we're actually making today. We're making a different one today with the chalks. This one is done with the stamp pads. So I used Granny Apple Green and Mango Melody for the colors. Now this little kitty cat comes from the Cat Punch. Okay, the Cat Punch is still available. And this cat, this is my cat from my childhood. This is Mummy Puss. Now I've got some photos and a story to tell you, and then I will go into our other card. Now tie-dyeing was very big in the 60s and 70s. I was born in 1970, and I knew that I had photographs of me in my little green and yellow tie-dye shirt. So I went and hunted out those photos, and they were the inspiration for this, because I knew that I had the photos of me in this shirt that was this color, these sorts of colors, a little bit different, but similar to these colors. And in one of the photos, I was holding my cat, Mummy Puss. Now, I have got my album here. So I've got a couple of photos in here of Mummy Puss. I created a couple of albums. These are 8 by 10, I think they are, albums that I created many, many years ago. And I've got 2 of them. And I think the second one is not quite finished actually. But I created these of my childhood because I have all of my childhood photographs. And this is before I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator, okay? So I'm just putting it out there. I haven't used Stampin' Up products in this catalog because this is before I was a demonstrator that I made these, okay? But let me just show you the inspiration for my, now I'm not sure how it's going to show. I might need to take the pages out. It depends on how the light picks up. But can you see my little tie-dye shirt there? So don't look at the bad haircut. My mother always cut my hair. And my hair was super messy in this one anyway because I probably had it plaited. She always used to plait my hair. But this was my little tie-dye shirt. And so this is the one that I was thinking of as soon as I saw that stamp. When I saw that stamp release, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to create a stamp. A card based around my shirt. And then these other 2 aren't such clear photos because, you know, we're talking early 70s. This is 1973. So I was 3 years old and I'm wearing it again in this photo. Obviously, they took a lot of photos of me on this particular day because I was wearing the same shirt. This is down by Dad's veggie patch down the backyard. This one was playing down near the back shed. And there's another one over. And these ones are of me in my backyard, but not in that shirt. But this is the one over here. And these are the stories about my cat. So this is the one here, this photo here, that inspired my, and I don't know if you can see it, that's the one that inspired my card. So there I am holding my, excuse the fact that I only have undies and a t-shirt on and no shorts. I was 3. But that is my Mummy Puss. And you can see her colouring here. She was actually pregnant at that stage. And so, hey, Julie. So in those photos, she had a really big tummy because she was pregnant. And I remember, well, I don't remember. Apparently, I found this cat, right? She wandered into our yard and I was the one who spotted her. So I've written a little story in there about I've journaled in there about my cat, Mummy Puss. And she was pregnant when we first got her. Now, I believe that first litter she lost, or none of the kittens survived. But then she had a second litter and we kept, this is my brother and I. Yes, my brother had long hair. Both my brothers did. It was the 70s, you know, very hippie styles back there. But this is me and my brother, and he's holding 2 of the kittens. and I'm holding the other kitten, and my kitten's name, and my friend doesn't know this, but my kitten's name was Tina. I named her Tina, and she was my little tabby kitten, and here I am carrying her here. And they were Mummy Puss's babies. The little brown one here, he became a very big chubby cat, and so not very politically correct for these days, but we actually called him Fatso, and that name stayed with him for his life. But he was a beautiful cat, and Mummy Puss was a beautiful, beautiful cat, and I had her till she was 16. And she got very, very sick with kidney failure in the end, and it was a very sad day. And I was working at the vets at that stage, so it was a very sad day when we had to have her put down. But I was with her right till the end. Anyway, so that is the story of my Mummy Puss. That is the inspiration behind my card. I just used a Stampin' Write marker to put the stripes on this and to draw the face, and no, I'm no artist in terms of drawing, so probably not the best cat face, but I did my best, and Mummy Puss was my inspiration and my tie-dye shirt. That is Lester. That's my brother Lester. Yeah, he's my eldest brother. For those of you that don't know, that he's my eldest brother. He is 12 years older than me, so he would have been 15 at that stage, and I was 3. So, yeah. So there you go. So that's the inspiration. Look at my beautiful Mummy Puss in this one. I love this photo. Me with my little jammies in front of the gas heater on the rug. Don't you just love all the old photos? Aren't they fantastic? Look at the carpet. How awesome is that carpet? I remember that carpet. That face is 200%. I thought it was a stamp image. Oh, really? No, I drew that. That was my second attempt. The first attempt was worse than that. It wasn't good at all. I went to have a look to see if I still had the cat stamp, but I couldn't find it. I don't think I still have it. So anyway, so they're the inspiration behind my and I was even looking at the layouts in here today, and I thought, you know what? I need to get back to my scrapbooking. And these are just simple layouts, and I've just added some stitching. Look, I've even done some daubering around the edges. Not sure if the camera is picking that up. But I love the sort of distressed and old sort of look, the vintage look. So yeah, so I really want to get back into my scrapbooking. But anyway, so tie-dyed shirt. Now the funny thing is, I have memories of my oldest, my sister Rosie, who's closest in age to me. She's 5 years older than me. I have memories of her making tie-dye shirts. I don't know how old I was. Maybe it was the 70s. It might have been the 80s. Probably the 70s. She might have been in high school. I was probably still in primary school. And I remember her actually making the tie-dyed shirts, which was more in keeping with these sorts of colours. So the really bright, lots of colourful shirts. Yeah, she was into all of that arty sort of thing. She was great at art, still is great at art and designing. But anyway, yes. So, oh, thank you so much, Rose. I'm glad you like my stories. Oh, that writing in my album, Judy, was actually type printed. I used to have a whole heap of different fonts that I used to pay for and download onto my computer, which I lost years ago because it was on an older computer. And that was one of the type fonts. So yeah, I had all these cool fonts. It was really awesome. Flower Power, yes. Yes, it was, Robin. Flower Power era. Certainly was. So anyway, so that's my Mummy Puss card. So I really love this. I just need to add some bling to that card. Now I don't even think I'm going to give this one away. I think I'm going to keep this one, but I might make a second one. But this is my Mummy Puss. I should do another one with my Tina cat, my Tina kitten. My little kitten Tina, actually, sad story, and the story was in my album. My kitten was only quite young. I'm not sure how old she was, but one day she disappeared and we couldn't find her anywhere. And I was really, really sad because she was my kitten. And I was only little. I was only 4, I think, at that time. And couldn't find her anywhere. And then one day I went down the backyard and I found my dad and my brother down behind the garage digging a hole, and they shooed me away, but I realized what was going on. Anyway, later on they had told me that she'd apparently been hit by a car, sadly, and yeah, and they were burying her. So that was really, really sad. But she was only a little kitten, so she probably had absolutely no road sense. So that was, yeah, I was very sad about that. But little Mummy Puss, she was the most beautiful, beautiful cat you would ever know. She was so, so gentle, always. All right, so in keeping with the tie-dye, let me show you what we're making today. This is the card that we're making today. I'm super excited about this one too. I love all of these, all different styles, all different designs. Let me show you the 3 different ones side by side. How different do they all look? I've used different techniques on each one of these, and different mediums. So this one is with ink. This one is with the pastels, which we're going to use today, and this one is with the Stampin' Write markers. So see all the different effects that you can get, and I really love this one because it's super soft as well, still getting that tie-dye effect but in a really soft effect, and this is the one we're going to be making today. All right, let's get started, and this one I'll have to turn into a card as well. All right, so I have got all of my bits and pieces here ready. I've got my kit ready to go. Now I've pre-cut the butterflies just to save a bit of time, but I haven't die cut the labels yet because I wanted to show you a few things with that. Oh, also too, I've got a little strip left over that I cut off the side of the Mummy Puss card, and I'm going to use that to decorate the inside of my card. So I'm keeping that strip, as I did with this one too. I had a little strip left over that I trimmed off, so I've kept that for the inside. Okay. Oh, hey Fee, thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to be using a couple of different products. So we've got the tie-dye stamp, obviously. For the butterflies, we've got the Brilliant Wings dies, and as I said, I've pre-cut those just to save a bit of time today. But if you haven't seen this die set is huge, and it has a coordinating stamp set. But these are all of the dies that come with it. So these ones here, they cut out the stamped images, and it actually cuts them out individually. And these ones are individual intricate dies. And then you've got some backgrounds. Oops, hang on, let me lay them down. You've got some backgrounds here, and then you've got some other smaller butterflies as well. So you get heaps and heaps of dies in this set. You get 12 actually. And you might have seen me use this one a few weeks ago. I made a card with this one. So that's where the butterflies have come from. Then for the labels, we're going to be using the Stitch So Sweetly, one of my favorites, and you see I've got some spares in there. So we're going to be using these ones up here, and I'm going to show you a little trick with one of these ones today too. And for the Hello, I've actually used one of the new stamp sets, the Artistically Inked stamp set, and I'm just using the big Hello from that, but you could use any sentiment that you have, but I wanted a large sort of sentiment to go there, and that one was perfect size. The ribbon is the gorgeous Highland Heather grosgrain ribbon, or grosgrain, depending on how you pronounce it. Some people say grosgrain, some people don't pronounce the S and they say grosgrain, but this is really beautiful, and it's got this beautiful shimmery effect to it. So we're using some of that today. We're going to be using some rhinestone basic jewels, and we're going to be colouring them with our Stampin' Blends, which I did on here. But I wanted to really show you how to create this beautiful background, this soft background. So let's start with that. So we'll bring out our piece of Whisper White. I'll tell you all the dimensions actually before we get started. So we've got a base of Gorgeous Grape, and this is 21 centimeters by 14.85, and it's just scored and folded at 10.5 as our bases are. So that's half a sheet of A4. Then we've got a layer of Coastal Cabana, and this one is 14.45 by 10.1. So that just gives us a 2mm border. And then we've got our Whisper White piece. Now I've already cut mine down. You could leave that as a full card front size if you wanted to, and then trim it down and have that additional piece that you can use to decorate the inside like I did with my other ones. But I've already cut this one down to size. So this one is 9.7 centimeters by 14.05 centimeters. Then I used some scraps in Gorgeous Grape to die cut my butterflies. And then I've got scraps for my label dies just in basic white. Oh, sorry, I think I said Whisper White. This is Whisper White because I haven't quite finished my Whisper White yet, but now is available. Now basic white is available, not the Whisper White anymore. This is the new Fresh Freesia color. So I've got a scrap of that. And then our ribbon, I've got 12 centimeters of that. So we're just going to use that to wrap around the front of our card. So pop all that aside, and we're going to start with our tie-dyed piece. I'm also going to be using Gorgeous Grape Stampin' Pad and the Dark Highland Heather Stampin' Blends to color my rhinestones. Okay, so you need those as well if you would like to do that. All right, so let's bring in the Stamparatus. Here we go. And just having a look to see if I have missed any comments. The background stamp looks great. Oh, thanks, Robin. Looks like another wish list ad. Oh, yes. Yes, wait till you see me use it today. You'll be wanting it. All right, so I'll just move this up a little bit so you can see that on screen. All right, so as I said, I've got everything positioned because I was playing with this yesterday. Let me come over that way a little bit. And so I've got a little bit of an outline here so I can see where to line up my cardstock. Now, if you don't already have that done, what you can do is pop your cardstock down where you want to have it. So I'm just going to line mine up with the image that I've got there. All right. And I'm using some of the mini grid paper. If you don't have any of the mini grid paper, but you have the large grid paper, you can always cut it down to size. That's what I used to do before the mini grid paper was available. You'll find this in the catalogue where you find the Stamparatus, okay? But I probably use the mini grid paper more so now than, or the small grid paper, than what I use the large. All right, so then I laid my cardstock down and I just put a little pencil mark around each of the corners so I knew where to line up my cardstock. So I'm just doing that again because I'm using a smaller piece this time, okay? And then what I would do is, if I didn't already have this on the, if I didn't already have the stamp on the, oh my goodness, on the plate, I would just line up my stamp over my cardstock so I knew it lined up correctly, and then I would close the lid to pick up the stamp onto the plate, or close the plate, sorry, to pick up the stamp onto the plate, okay? And then you've got that there positioned for each stamping that you do. Okay, now what we're going to be using today is we are using a Versamark stamp pad, okay? So we don't need all those other colors, we just need the soft pastels and the Versamark, and I've got some daubers. So you can use the blending brushes. Actually, where are my daubers? Let me grab my daubers. I've left them in the crate here. You can use blending brushes, but I was wanting to use daubers so that I had a little bit more control of the color. There we go. And these are the last 3 clean daubers that I had. So I have to put some more on my next order. Okay, so all we're going to do is we are going to, oops, so we'll make sure I line that cardstock back up again with my marks. We're going to ink this up. I'm just going to pop the stamp case underneath my grid plate to make that flat. It just, and I'm popping it under the stamp as well, so it gives a little bit more support to that stamp as I'm inking it up, and just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just making sure that I add a good heavy layer of Versamark over the entire background stamp. Sorry for the noise. A little bit of thumping here. I'm just pressing that quite firmly onto the stamp. Okay, so make sure my cardstock is lined up. Now I'm not using the magnet today because I'm going to be covering the entire piece with this background stamp, so I don't want that magnet getting in the way. All right, so then you just close your plate, give a good press on your entire stamp, press it all over, give it a rub. If you had a cloth or a piece of paper towel, that actually will give you better, what's the word? There'll be less friction, so it's easier to rub. Now, because you've got the hinges here, you don't want to be putting your stamp too close to the hinges because the plate is less pliable just there. Okay, so always have it out a little bit from the hinges. Especially, it doesn't matter so much with the top because the top isn't attached into the hinges. It's where you've got your plate attached into the hinges. It's quite rigid there. Okay, so that's why it's out a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at that. So we'll open that up. Oh, it looks like I've got a lot of ink on there, so that's good because it's stuck to the stamp. Fantastic. Okay, I can see in the light that I've got that covered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that paper around 180 degrees, so it's up the opposite way now. I'm going to line it back up with the marks that I made. I'm going to re-ink my stamp. Make sure I get that completely covered again. Okay, make sure that's stayed lined up. Yep, stamp that down again. Same thing again, I'll use my paper towel to rub that. Make sure I got all that ink transferred onto the cardstock, including the center. You can even go around in spirals if you want to, like the stamp. There we go. All right, and open that back up. Fantastic. Now we've got that spiral on there. Now I'm not sure if you can see in the light, if you can see that Versamark ink. Not sure if that's going to pick up. Yeah, I think you can see that glistening there. Okay, so I'll just close that and I'll move that away, out of the way. Move those out of the way. All right, so now I need some grid paper, and I'll just grab a clean piece from my pad because I forgot to grab a piece beforehand. Oops, I'll put that on the ink. All right, so I'm going to pop that down, and I'm going to use some of the pastels. So I'm using the Gorgeous Grape, the Coastal Cabana, and the, oh, I forget which one that one was. What was that one? Mango Melody. Mango Melody is the other one. Okay, so I'm going to use those 3. And I'm just going to pull in another scrap. Is this one scrap? Yeah, I can use that one. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is each of these colors I'm going to just scribble onto scrap paper to give me the powder. So let me move over this way a little bit and up a tad so that you can see what I'm doing. So you want to scribble those onto some scrap so that you get the powder, like chalk powder. Because they're quite a firm pastel, so they're not as soft as some of the chalks that I used to have years ago. Before I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I had both the Stampin' Up ones and I also had a different brand as well, which I still have, but I don't use them anymore because now I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I only use Stampin' Up products. But they're something that I just couldn't bear to part with. So yeah, and some of them are softer than others. So it just depends on, actually I'm going to start with the yellow. Yeah, it depends on the chalk. So to take and rub your dauber directly on the chalk, you don't actually get much color coming off that way, but scratching it onto the paper and getting the powder, you then pick it up. So I then just rub that into the chalk, and you can start from wherever you like, and you just lay down that color. And then I just rotate the colors. I just keep changing up the colors. So you'll have to have a look in the light to see the pattern and to see where the design flows. It doesn't really matter with this. You can really get away with doing it in any which way. And you just keep adding the colors and you'll get the spiral pattern coming out, and you just keep adding more, but you'll see that the chalk is actually sticking to the Versamark. And I just kept going around the pattern and blending in the colors a little bit to the one before. And you can go back over. So what I did last time when I did the last one is I kept going back over. So I'd sort of do all of the colors and then I was going back over to make them heavier, make them darker. So you can just keep interchanging the colors. And yeah, so that's a technique that I used to use many years ago with my chalks, is just using them with the Versamark ink. So there's lots of different ways you can use the chalk. So I call them chalks, but these ones are called pastels. But there's lots of different ways that you can actually use them. But this is just one technique that I used to love to use. So I thought, I'm going to bring it back. There we go. Now what color do we need down here? We need some of the purple down here. And you can really do them in any, any way that you want. But you end up with a fantastic result at the end. And then I'll probably come in with a little bit more color to deepen these a bit, but it's a little bit softer than using the Stampin' Right markers or the inks. You get this really soft effect. And then what I did at the end, I'll show you when I finish coloring it, I'll show you what I did next. Make sure I don't miss any. I missed a little bit up there. But yeah, you do need to have grid paper underneath you because you do get a bit of that chalk powder. So we're going to remove that in a moment. We'll come back in with the Coastal Cabana and we'll add a bit more there and there. So you might need to rub a bit more chalk or pastel. Blend those together. So tell me, who has actually made a tie-dye shirt? Have you ever made one? Let me know. So back in the days, I don't think, oh, I might have helped my sister when my sister was making them when I was a little bit older. But I do remember her doing them, but she was always doing arty sort of things. She even did, she did screen printing for a while there too. She had her own screen printing equipment and she did screen printing and all sorts of things. She used to love doing all that sort of thing. She was so talented at all of that. Still is. She's a very talented artist. And now she loves to, well actually she's a professional photographer and videographer. But she also loves building. She's and renovating. She's currently renovating a house, their house, or their unit actually. And yeah, she's built a few houses and renovated a few houses and built furniture and all sorts of things. She's very, very clever. There we go. Okay, so we've got all those colours down. So let me move those to the side. Woodwork and lead lighting. Yes, that's correct. I forgot about the lead lighting. She's also done lead lighting. Thank you, Judy. She's done all sorts of things. Oh, and Kathleen says she loves this method. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. All right, so then we'll just tap that off. And then what I did is I actually got a soft tissue. So just a facial tissue. And I just gently rubbed over all of that. 1, to soften the colours a little bit, and 2, to rub off any of that excess. I tried to do it colour by colour, so I didn't blend them any further. But yeah, just to take off any excess chalk that might be sitting on the surface, because you certainly don't want somebody to be receiving your cards and then get their hands all dirty. So just remove any of that excess chalk. Just keep turning my tissue to a clean part. There we go. And then just give a little swizzle over the top. There we go. I've got all that excess off now. Great. I'll just give the back a wipe too, now that I've just put it down on top of all the chalk. So we'll get rid of that. I'll shake that off in the bin. And we can reuse that piece for another one. Judy says, you're all creative in your own ways. Yes, I do come from a very creative family actually, and we all have different creative talents, I guess you'd say. All creative in different ways, but our parents were both very creative as well, so we inherited their creativity, I think, which I'm very thankful for. All right, so, oh, Judy says it's going on her wish list. Fantastic, Judy. Just make sure you either have a large block to fit the stamp. It's the largest block that we have. I forget which one it is, but I can have a look in the catalogue for you. Or a Stamparatus to be able to use it. And then you've got it, if you do purchase a Stamparatus, Judy, then you've got it for all your stamps and you don't need to have a whole heap of different size blocks. The Stamparatus does also work with the photopolymer stamps as well, and it comes with a foam mat that fits in the Stamparatus for using with photopolymer stamps. So you get everything that you need when you get the Stamparatus, except the grid paper that is sold separately. Okay. Kathleen says, looks fantastic, and I made many tie-dye shirts and sold them to friends. Oh, that's so cool, Kathleen. That's awesome. Oh yes, Athena has done lots of tie-dyeing as well, and she has also made tablecloths. Yes, I've seen some of your tablecloths, Athena. They look amazing. They look fantastic. Do you know if the pastels react with water? Yes, I have played with them with my aqua painter, and they do. They do melt down, I guess you'd say, with water. Had a little bit of a play with that. I didn't end up doing a whole project with it, but yes, they do. They do work with those, with the water. I did try them also with the blender pen. Where did I put that now? This one. I tried them with the blender pen. I just found, and they did work with the blender pen, but I just found that the blender pen was a little bit harsh. The color is a little bit lighter, and the blender pen was a little bit harsh on the cardstock with the chalk. So I didn't, it does work, but I didn't like that. Perhaps if I used heavier, I think I was just using regular Whisper White. So perhaps if I used heavier cardstock, like the thick or the shimmer, it might have been better, but I was just using the standard Whisper White. So it wasn't working so well for me with that one. But it does, you can do it with that. You can also use the blending brushes with the chalks as well. But as I said, I wanted to use the daubers just for a bit more control. And again, you probably get a slightly smoother finish with the blending brushes as well, because they are a softer F block. Thank you very much, Kathleen. Yes, it's the F block that you need for the backgrounds. Do you need a fixer spray? Rose has asked. I haven't used one, Rose, simply because when I did this card, I was putting a lot of things on top of it anyway, and I found once I wiped it with the tissue to remove any excess, there wasn't really any more coming off. It seemed to adhere to the Versamark, because the Versamark is a very sticky ink, and it seemed to adhere to the Versamark and wasn't rubbing off. So I didn't use a fixative, no. That was great questions, guys. You're all asking really good questions today. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're just going to attach that to our Coastal Cabana piece. I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal to do that. So, oh, whoa, I went wonky then with my tape. Let's try that again. I probably just got tape on my tabletop then. As long as it didn't go over to the front of my piece. Let me just check. I hope I didn't get, no, that's all good. All good, all good. All right, so as I said, if you are starting with a full card front size, be sure that you cut it down to the right size, which is 14.05 by 9.7, before adhering to your card front. Okay, and let's see which way. Yeah, I think I'll have it up that way. So I'm just adhering it to my layer, because then I'm going to wrap some ribbon around before I adhere it to my card base. Trying to get that straight. Oops, oops, oops. That's not quite straight, but that's okay. I'm going to be putting lots of things on top so you won't notice. Okay, all good. And so then I'm going to wrap some ribbon around the center. So I'll get out my glue dots. Ah, you're welcome, Rose. Judy said she used hairspray with hers back in the old days. Yes, I think I used to as well, Judy. But I don't find that I need to with this one so far anyway. That's been my experience so far. But perhaps if you get them, have a little play and see what you think. But they tended to stick really well to the Versamark. I guess it will depend on what technique you're using with the pastels as well. With the Versamark, they seemed to stick quite well. Now, I don't even know if that's exactly the middle, but let's just go with that. I'm going to make sure I've got enough to overhang the edges. Maybe I should measure with my ruler to be precise. Oops. Oh gosh, now it's really not the middle. Let's see, what have we got? We've got 6.9 and definitely not the middle. Was that 6.9? Yeah, I've got that up to, no, 6.4, sorry. Reading my ruler wrong. And that is 6.23. Not too bad. I'll just take it down just a little bit lower. Maybe I can just wriggle it. I'll just wriggle it down a little bit. There will do. That'll be near enough. And then wrap those ends around that layer. Oh, wait, no. Before I do that, oh goodness, I completely forgot a step. Thankfully I use glue dots and I can release that. I completely forgot a step. Okay, don't adhere that yet. All right, I'll just leave that there for a sec. I forgot, we're going to attach it to the label. We're actually going to thread it through the label. So this is my label that I created, and I actually threaded it through the label. So I forgot about that step. Too busy chatting, I am. Okay. No, exactly. No, not yet. That's right, Rose. All right, so I'm going to be cutting a label. Where are my dies now? Here we go. All right, my Stitched So Sweetly dies. I love these ones. We use these ones a heck of a lot, I have to say. They're one of my favorites. There we go. So I'm using that one and that one. And, oh, okay. So I'm going to die cut. I'll bring in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Been giving my mini a workout today. It's really handy just having on the desktop. It's a good size. So I'm going to pop that in. Now, because this die has got straight edges, I'm going to turn that at a little bit of an angle. That helps the machine just to catch it and run it through, and then you don't get that huge speed bump that can get caught in your rollers and damage your rollers. So we'll take that through. There we go. All right, so I'll focus on this one first. I'll come back to the other label in a moment because we need to stamp our sentiment for that one. All right, now you'll notice that this one doesn't have slots in it, okay? But I have got slots in this one. So you might be wondering how I made the slots and how I made them so neatly. Well, let me tell you, there is a label die that has slots. So that's what I used. So I'm using this label die has a long slot and a circle slot, or a hole, so you can punch either. And I thought, well, this will work perfectly. So what I did first is I measured to make sure that I had my slot even. I measured between the, I measured the center of this piece. So just there. And let's get that about there. About there. Okay, so it's about the center. And then I just measured in a little bit. So I think I went in 1/2 centimeter. So about there. So I just put a little X marks the spot. So that's about 1/2 centimeter from the edge. It's really hard to see my ruler, my metal ruler measurements with the lighting. So hopefully I've got that about right. Okay, so I've put a little X marks the spot for 1/2 centimeter in and the middle, roughly the middle. And then I'll take that into my punch and line that up. Now I've got to watch where the stitched edge is because I don't want to lose the stitched edge. So I've got to make sure it punches within that stitched edge. And there's my little slot. And we'll do the same. And it doesn't matter if they're not exactly right because we're going to be feeding the ribbon through it anyway. So you won't notice too much if it's not exactly right. I'm just using my eye as well to try and get that lined up reasonably straight. There we go. Okay. Then I'll just rub out those little pencil marks so that they don't show on the outside edge. There we go. And there's my little slots in my label. Now what I'll do is I'll take my ribbon and I'll take it up through one side. And I've got the glue dots already on this, so that's going to be a little bit, I'm going to do it a bit more carefully this time. Thread that across. And when I get the middle, because I've already got a glue dot under there, I can make sure that that is aligned in the middle between the slots. Press that down. There we go. Now we can attach that to the card. So let's put a bit of Stampin' Seal on the back there. Has anybody done that with their labels before? Added little slots? Have you thought to do that before? And then we'll add that to the front. And I won't push it down too much yet because I'm going to measure again with my ruler just to see. So I've got that at 1 point, what is that, 1.65-ish, 1.65, 1.7, and that is 1 point, oh, it's over that way too much. So lucky I didn't push it down too hard. I've got to move it over a little bit. Let's see now. 1.9. Oh, I'm not doing too well. I moved it too far now. Ugh. And I don't have my glasses on, so it's making it more difficult. I think I need to go about 1.6. Let's go 1.6, about there. Does that be right? 1.6, 1.7, go over that way. That'll be about right, I think. And down a little bit. It doesn't matter too much if it's not exactly in the middle, because of the design of the spiral. You're not really going to be able to tell. And anyway, it doesn't have to be in the middle. You can have it up higher than the middle if you want to, as long as you've got room for your butterflies to fit in, because you want to leave space for your butterflies. So I'm just going to stick it about there, I reckon. What are we at now? We are at 4.8, I think, ish. 4. Oh, still. It's really deceptive with the spiral. It plays havoc on your eyes, and it's really hard to work out where the center is. I probably should have put a mark where the center was before I went to put it down. Oh, that's near enough now. That'll do. That's near enough. All right, let's go with that. Okay, we'll adhere that down. All right, so that's stuck. We've got our glue dots on the ends of our ribbon, so now we can just wrap that around. Sorry, I was being very fussy there with my measurements. And wrap that one around. Okay, and now that one is ready to be adhered to our card base. So now we can just add our adhesive. So I'm going to use just some Stampin' Seal Plus. Oh, Julie said she's never done that with a punch before. Thank you for the tip. You're welcome, Julie. I love giving everyone little tips. I think it's great to share all these little tips and techniques and things. All right, make sure I get a bit of adhesive onto my ribbon as well. Oh, that didn't go on my ribbon. Is that going on my ribbon? Because I want to make sure that my ribbon section also is held down to the card base. There we go. Okay. So we'll pop that down onto our Gorgeous Grape card base. I might just actually burnish that a little bit more. It wants to keep popping up. I find that the Gorgeous Grape is quite a thick cardstock, which is fantastic. It's great for card bases. And, oh, I can see I didn't quite get enough adhesive just there. There we go. Which way did I have that up now? That way, didn't I? I think I went that way. Yep. Doesn't really matter which way, but I think that is the way that I had it up. All right, so then we'll just line that up, giving us a nice 2mm border all the way around. We're just going with the small 2mm borders today. There we go. Make sure I press down on that ribbon. Give that all a nice push. Good, good. Okay. Now for our sentiment, we're going to stamp our sentiment on this one, and we're using the hello. I don't think I have it out. Let's see, there we go. Do you know what? I did hello on the other one. Maybe this one I should do best wishes. Let me just see. I think that will fit in that die. Let's see. Will that fit? Yes. Let's do best wishes on this one. It's good to have different cards with different sentiments, don't you think? All right, so I'm going to stamp this in Gorgeous Grape. Just going to pop it down in the middle. There we go. And then we'll line up our die around that and die cut that. Hi, Alison, how you going? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, definitely catch the replay, Alison. I've got some tips with using the new spiral die stamp. Such a fun stamp to play with. Okay, give that a little clean. Oops. Didn't put that back in my case properly. Didn't want to close. All right, so let's bring back in our mini. And we'll pop this die down and line that up. And I didn't stamp that straight, but that's okay. I can line up my die and hopefully I'll get it straight with my die. Just use a little bit of washi tape to hold that down. This is some retired washi tape. Actually, we don't have any current washi tape at the moment. Well, Stampin' Up doesn't have any washi tape at the moment, which is a bit sad. A lot of people really love washi tape. So I'm hoping that I'm getting this straight-ish. Let's see. I like to usually stamp my stamp straight before I die cut, because then it helps me to line up my die. But if I stamp it crooked to begin with, then trying to line up my die crooked on my crooked stamped image, I find it a bit challenging. All right, here we go. Don't you just love the mini machine? It's so handy to have. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit crooked still, but that's okay. We'll go with that. It's not too bad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with that, some of that chalk that I had left over, I'm going to use, oh my goodness, I'm dropping them everywhere. I'm going to use the gorgeous grape color, and I'm just going to put a little bit around the edges like you would dawble with your ink, but this time I'm actually doing it with the chalks. It's a lot softer than doing it with your inks because it's the pastel or the chalk. It's a much softer effect, but it still just does give it a little bit of softness on the edges and helps to bring in that color. And if you find you're not getting much color, then just rub your pastel again and get a little bit more of the powder. Oops, a bit too much there. If you get a bit too much, the good thing is you can rub it off. If it looks a bit too heavy, just rub a little bit of it off. I just used my finger just then, but you probably can use a tissue or a piece of paper towel or something just to rub that color back off. There we go. And there we have our little sentiment. So add a bit more there. There you go. Can you see that there? With the, oh, excuse my very dry hands, but hopefully you can see that chalk around the edges. Just gives that little bit of soft edging to it. Okay. Alrighty, so we are going to pop this one up onto dimensionals. So let's just grab those. There we go. And my Take a Big tool, where did I put that? There it is. I put it away, of course, right where it should be. There we go. Let's remove those backings. And we're going to pop it over that ribbon there. Okay, so just line that up. That should be about right. Okay. And as I said, the butterflies, I showed you the dies earlier with those. So I pre-die cut those just to make it a little bit quicker. I'm just going to gently bend the wings up a little so that they have a bit of dimension to them. And these ones I'm not going to put on dimensionals. I'm just going to adhere them flat to the card. So I'm just going to use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue, because the dimension is going to be in the wings. So when you're doing this, just make sure that the wings aren't going to overlap the edge of the card, because you want this to be able to fit in an envelope and you don't want the wings to get damaged. So you just press it down And then you can just bring those wings back up. So do the same again with the other one. Oops. Oof, got a lot of glue on that one. And we'll pop this one at the opposite angle. About there. Near the edge there. Press that down. Pop those little wings up. There we go. And now we need to add our bling. So let's move that over. I'm just using some rhinestone basic jewels. It does give a bit of an ombre look. Yes, you're right, Judy. All right, so I'm using the dark Highland Heather. And I'm just going to colour in, oops, oh, that one's come unstuck from the backing sheet. Let's just push that back down again. There we go, and just colour. So because these are an alcohol-based marker, you can colour them onto non-porous surfaces and they will stick, which is fantastic. So how many do we need? Oh, I coloured extras. Well, that's okay. That's all right, we can have extras on this one. And I just like to give them a couple of coats to make them a bit darker. So if you just want them really light, just hit them with one coat, or if you want them darker, then just go over them with 2 coats. And this will dry fairly quickly on there as well. Oh, I had one already coloured over here too. Okay, so now let's just add our bling. So we'll pop one of the large ones up here. Is that dry? Yep. We'll pop another one down here. Let's pop it down here, just off the purple, because otherwise we're going to lose it. We'll use a small one down here. And let's put a small one on each of, whoops, the ends of the sentiment there. One there and one there. So when you're using your bling, it's always a good idea to have an odd number. So either 3, 5, or 7. 7 is a lot, but it depends on your card that you're creating or your project that you're creating. But usually 3 or 5 is a good number to have when you're adding your bling. It's just aesthetically more balanced to have an odd number. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't add them on my butterflies this time. That's why I had the 2 extras. Well, we're going to go 7 this time because we've already got 5 on there, and now we need some on the butterfly. Or you could, if you didn't want to do this on your butterfly, you could add some Wink of Stella to your butterfly to make them glimmery and shiny. Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. I'm not sure if that's quite dry yet. I'll just pop one on each of the... You could leave them silver as well. They'd look great silver. But I just thought to bring in a bit more of that purple. My mum would really have loved this card because purple was her favourite colour and she loved butterflies. And I think she would really like the tie-dye effect as well because she just loved things that were really colourful. There we go. So there is our finished card. So that's the original one. That's the second one. So you can see I've done the colours in a little bit of a different order, but just using the same 3 colours again. But how cool is that? I just think it's a really fun, bright, colourful, pretty card that you could use for lots of different occasions. So yeah, so let's bring in our Mummy Puss card. There's our Mummy Puss card. And that was the other one that I haven't made into a card yet. So I'll have to do something with that, and then I'll have to post the photo on my Facebook page so that you can all see it. So there's the 3 different designs. So again, we're using the pastels on this one, the soft pastels. This one is using the stamp pads. And what I actually did, I forgot to mention it, I think, I inked up twice. So I did one stamping, and then I did a second stamping to get it nice and dark, and then did the same with then flipped it 180 degrees, then did the other color. And then with this one, this was just markers, the Stampin' Right markers. So, yeah. Okay, you love the rainbow one, Judy. This one, yeah, it's super colorful, hey. I'll have to decide what I'm going to put on that one. Yeah, Judy said she agrees that Mum would have loved it. Yeah, she would have. Yeah, so there we go. All right. Well, let me put my my camera back up to my face so that I can say goodbye to you face to face. You know, I always love to do that. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's add some bling to my Mummy Puss card. I have out the In Colour Jewels, the 2021 to 2023 In Colour Jewels, and I thought some of those might go. I was wondering about the yellow ones. So that is the Pale Papaya, but I thought perhaps they might go with the kitty cat without being too overwhelming. So I was thinking if I pop some on here, then yeah, let's put some on here. Then we've got our bling, but it's not too, whoops, it's not too overwhelming. Oh, it's stuck to my finger. There we go. I love these too. They're adhesive backed, so they're really fantastic. There we go. All right, now we've got some bling for Mummy Puss. There you go, Mama Puss. And the reason that I used the twine as well was to represent string or wool, because as everybody knows, cats are synonymous with balls of wool. So that's why I decided to use the twine there. And I used the grey granite twine to tie in with my grey cat, my little Mummy Puss. So yeah, there we go. All right, so let me flip the camera up now. So now I've got that one finished. Love to see how I did the rainbow one. Oh, that one's a long video, Judy. That one took a lot of time to do. Basically what I did, I can explain it to you though. What I did is I looked up a tie-dye shirt on Pinterest just to get the colors that I liked, and then I picked out some Stampin' Right markers that coordinated with those colors or looked similar to those colors. And with my basically what I did is I took each color and I used the brush tip and I just colored a section. So I just went around, sorry, can you see that? Let me move that up a little bit. I just went around a section and then I stopped, and then I just changed color, went to the next color, and then colored the next section, and just basically followed the spiral around as I did the different colors. Then I huffed my breath on the whole thing several times to moisten that ink again, because it does dry when it's been sitting there for a little while. So just huffed my breath to moisten it all again. I stamped it down, pushed it really hard like I showed you before. And then I rotated my cardstock 180 degrees, and then I did it again and tried to do the same colors in the same order as I had done the first time. So yeah, that's basically all I did. Nothing super fancy, just colored the stamp with the Stampin' Right markers, because this is basically the same ink as what's in the ink pads. Yeah. And then just kept changing up the colors. But if you want to know the colors that I used, let me give them to you and you can write them down. So I used Pacific Point, I used Bermuda Bay, Magenta Madness, Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green. Now that technique will only work with the Stampin' Right markers, okay? Not your Stampin' Blends. These ones are water-based, okay? Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based, so you don't want to use Stampin' Blends on your stamps directly, okay? It will stain your stamps and it could damage them because it's alcohol-based. So only use your Stampin' Right markers or your stamping pads, your ink pads, on your actual stamps, okay? Because these ones are water-based, the same as our ink pads. All right, so it was pretty easy. It just took a lot of time. It would be a really boring video probably, because it took a really long time just to sit and color them all in. yeah, but basically just did a color at a time, in a section at a time. Yeah, so I need to give this a really good clean now because it's covered in Versamark. Oh, that just gave me an idea. No, I don't think that would work. Oh, it might work. I don't know. I just came up with another idea. I'll have to try it and see. So anyway, that's that one. Yeah. All right, so let me cover up my camera and I'll tip my camera up. Now I've misplaced my magic piece of washi tape. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. How am I going to cover up my camera? Where have I put it now? That's another wish list. No, not boring, challenging. Yes, it is. Only becomes boring after I've done a few. Yes, you probably would get frustrated with it. Well, yeah, I don't know, you might not. It depends. If you like coloring, you probably really enjoy it actually. But if you want a quick card, that is definitely not a technique for a quick card. I don't know where I've put my washi tape. Oh, there it is. Found it. All good. It's all right. Yeah, if you really love coloring, then you'll probably really love that technique actually. I just don't have a lot of time to sit and color. So for me, it took a long time and I probably won't do many of those ones. All right, so let's just tip the camera up. Just bear with me for a moment. Oops. Oh, I nearly tipped over my whole stand then. Okay. Nearly there. And flip and flip. There we go. Okay. Sorry, that was a little bit jumpy then. It was wriggling that stand a lot. I'll just readjust my lights. There we go. And I'll get my image for my video. There we go. So I'm glad that you really enjoyed that one. That's a really fun technique. I love using the pastels with the Versamark. I did a couple of other tests. You may have seen if you were watching my unboxing. Oh, there's another one somewhere. There we go. I was doing some other Versamark work with the pastels, and I made this little dragonfly, just stamping in Versamark and going over with the chalks or the pastels. And then I did a couple of other little samples as well, just to test different ways of doing it. So I think it was this one. I put the chalk directly onto the stamped image, and I basically went over the lined images and then blended it down with my daubers. Is that the daubers? Yes, with the daubers. I didn't get as heavier color doing it that way. So then I used the chalks. I've got an old coloring tool that I used to have many, many years ago when I first started working with chalks. And it's got like an alligator clip on it, and it's got these little tiny pom-poms that you add onto there, and you've got I've got different colors for different pom-poms for different colors, I should say. And I tried that tool because I still have that in my kit, and I tried that to see, and that guy gave a really good color. And then I tried with daubers directly with the powder, as I showed you today, and that's the result I got with that one. So yeah, so different ways of using it. And then the dragonfly was the Versamark, so it was much softer. Yeah, so it's all different types of techniques, and as we discussed today, you can use your water painters with rubbing that chalk, rubbing your pastel onto some scrap paper, and then blending in some water with them, or using your water painter directly with them. You might like to even rub it onto paper and then brush the chalk onto, say, a plate or into a palette. That would be really good, and then mixing the water with that. The blending brushes do work, but you need a thicker cardstock with that, otherwise that tends to pill if you're working your color too much. So yes, make sure you use a heavier weight cardstock with that, either the thick Whisper White, thick Berry Vanilla. You could try it on the watercolor paper, and also the shimmer white as well, the shimmer cardstock. Yeah, so what else did we talk about? Did I miss any? Blending brushes. You can use the pastels with the blending brushes. And yeah, to color your stamped images or use it with Versamark. I'm trying to think what else. I might have missed something. But anyway, yeah, they're lots of fun. So grab them. They don't cost very much. I think from memory, don't quote me, I think they're $15.75 or something around there. Something around there. But they're quite inexpensive and they will last for ages because I've used mine quite a bit already and I've only kind of just blunted off, really, one end so far. So yeah, so they're going to last for ages. So they're quite a good value. Yes, Robin says, very effective background, love it. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, Renee says, lovely cards. Robin says, lovely. Hey, Megan, how you going? Oh, you did miss everything. We are just wrapping up. Yes, definitely catch the replay. This is the card that we made, Megan, and we used the new pastels, the new soft pastels with Versamark ink and the spiral die stamp set. It's really, really cool. Spiral die background stamp, I should say. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining me today. Remember that if you have not already joined Stampin' Up, right now is the best time to join Stampin' Up. It's always the best time to join Stampin' Up, but at the moment, it's even more fantastic because you only pay $169, but you get $114 worth of free product on top of that. So you choose product up to $285. So if you have got a large order that you want to put in or you've got a really long wish list, consider joining because it is a great time to join and get all those additional freebies and free shipping, and then you'll get 20% discount on all of your future products, as well as join my awesome team and become part of a fun creative community, not only in my team but in Stampin' Up in the wider community. So yeah, so if you would like more information on that, please let me know. I would love to answer any of your questions that you have. Oh, thank you, Megan. You wanting to know how to use the pastels, so watch. Oh yes, so I showed a few different ways of using them as well. So yeah, and we talked about some different ideas. So definitely check that out, Megan. All right, well, have a great weekend, everyone. I mean, a great weekend, a great week, and a great weekend next weekend. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all stay well. And I look forward to seeing you again next Monday at 4 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. Until then, happy crafting, everyone. Bye.